Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Irrigation Association judging presentation. My name is Tiffany Wilson. I want to give a huge thank you to our sponsor of our new product contest this year. Thank you so much to Rainbird Corporation for making this happen. Today, you are tuned in to hear products from our landscape category. We will be hearing from 4 products. Each contestant will be given 5 minutes to present, 4 minutes for their presentation, and then we'll take another minute to see if there are any questions from the judges. Presenters, if you're logged in, I'm actually going to hide my video during your presentation, and then I'll come back on when you have about 30 seconds left. So please consider that your wind down warning. And with that, I'll go ahead and introduce our judges for today. So we have Brian Copeland. He is the Territory Sales Manager for South Carolina and Western North Carolina at Smith Turf and Irrigation. And Jiang Li is a professor at North Dakota State University. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us and judging for us today, and welcome. So we will go ahead and get started with our first product. I'd like to introduce Rootwise from NDS Raindrip. And Lance, if you want to just go off mute and enable your camera, you're welcome to share your screen. There's a share screen icon at the bottom. Same for you, Liz.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
I can hear you.
Sorry about that, everybody. It seems like we had some technical difficulties there, and I lost my internet for a second.
I got kicked off as well. So is my video up or not? Can't tell.
We just see your name.
Okay.
And Liz, we see your, okay, we see you, Lance.
I guess. Hi, everybody.
All right. Sorry about that, you guys. Some technical difficulties here.
No problem. We're all figuring it out.
I'm just trying to... Yes. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
I do. I see it. Perfect.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for bearing with us here with our technical difficulties. My name is Liz Ramirez. I'm the product manager for irrigation at NDS and Raindrip. And I'd like to introduce my partner, Lance Lortscher, who is a contractor with New View Landscapes and one of the inventors of Rootwise. So we are really excited to talk about this with you guys today. So we'll go ahead and get started. So Rootwise is a 360-degree precision watering pad, and this makes it really easy to grow happy, healthy, and hydrated plants. So for us and for other landscape professionals, we know it's really all about the plants, and so that's why Lance and his team have designed this product to really help to create beautiful and healthy plants. And one thing that's innovative about this product is it has patented 360-degree root zone targeting technology. So what makes that possible is in the lower right-hand corner here, you can see a representation of the product. It has a geotextile mesh that wraps around the base of a plant, and inside it's got an integrated drip line for consistent and even watering. And then there is a feeder line you can see on the right there that has a fitting at the end to make it really easy to plug into a system. As well, it comes with 3 stakes to make sure that there's a secure connection to the ground around the base of that plant. So this product, we've been talking a lot about plug and play technology to make it very easy and fast to install. So simply you set this around the base of a plant, connect it into a supply line and get watering. So it's a very fast and easy installation, both for contractors and homeowner customers as well. So this product is ideal for shrubs and other plants with a trunk-like or a stalk. So roses, peppers, and tomatoes have been very widely used with this product with great success. And it's also great for potted plants. So really the bottom line about this product is it saves time, it saves money, and it saves water. So we think that this is a great development in drip irrigation here. And so I'm going to walk you guys through a case study that we did here to kind of illustrate these savings. So we had an irrigation designer work up some typical installations on the same plot of land with a variety of irrigation methods here. So we're looking at spray heads, drip line, as well as point source irrigation in comparison to the Rootwise product here. So there are some bar charts that you can kind of see the usages of this for these different products. So we've got labor represented here, and that's in number of hours to install. Cost, which represents both the material cost of the products in the installation as well as the cost of the labor. And then water usage, which is in gallons. So, you know, kind of a lot going on here, but really the bottom line is this table here in the center where you guys can see that there's a pretty significant savings versus all of these other types of irrigations for Rootwise. So really saving a lot of time on the installation there, as well as some significant savings in terms of money for material and labor cost. And, you know, you guys are, I'm sure, familiar with the story of the water savings for drip. So that is true here as well. We've got some significant savings over spray heads and drip line. So, you know, this is a new product that we're excited about trying to create the next generation of drip irrigation here, and really looking to, you know, improve and make it very easy for people to grow beautiful and healthy plants. So that's all the content that we have prepared for you guys today. I know that you've read a little bit about this product, and so we're prepared to answer any questions that you guys might have about this new product here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Liz. So I'll go ahead and open it up to our two judges. If there are any questions.
Yeah. How many different sizes do you have for this type of drip?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the product that we have launching this year is a 16-inch diameter product. That is the medium size that has been developed. So we also have an 11-inch and a 22-inch size product that we'll be launching later in 2021.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because if you put it under the trees, the drip line is going to different sizes. Some other trees start to, and the water moves downwards very little sideways as to go to the soil profile. I just wonder how flexible. And how about the color? Do you always put mulches on the top of that geotextile, or a lot of times just the mesh itself?
Yeah, so in terms of the sizes, you know, we have designed 3 sizes for various size plants, but this is really the first in a line of innovations that we're planning to be able to support larger trees. And then in terms of color, currently we only have a black version, but we are developing some other colors of geotextile with the different colors of geotextile fabric. But we do find that, you know, it's very easy to hide and make invisible in a landscape by putting, you know, decomposed granite or mulch over it, or whatever the user prefers.
Okay. As far as water movement, rainwater goes through the geotextile easily. How about evaporation? The water going upward, downward, just same, or is a little bit different?
Yeah, so
go ahead.
Go ahead, Lance.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely one of the great things about the Rootwise. Air can move freely through it, but it's also permeable. The water goes right down through the mat. What we were talking about a minute ago with the water, we found, yeah, it's not this, the size that we have now are not for large trees. It's for shrubbery up to kind of small, you know, big shrubs or small trees. But the water we're finding when you have the stakes, we take, you know, usually the plant gets planted just a little bit above grade, and once the mat goes around, you put the stakes to secure it close to the soil, and then you water it, where we are seeing that the water, almost like a funnel shape, goes down and kind of moves out. So it does stretch out and gives a really good movement of the water. Almost about twice as big as like this 16 that we're looking at today. It'll about double that with about 5 gallons as it moves down through the plant.
Yeah, the reason I was going to make a comment on that, the reason I was asking the water movement downwards is because how do you regulate the water movement through the drip line when you run into different soil profile conditions? The water conductivity will be different when the downwards movement is, if it's slow enough, then the water starts to go lateral. That's why I was wondering.
So the 16-inch puts on approximately 4 gallons per hour. So it's a really slow rate the water's going in.
Okay.
The stakes really help pull that water down quickly, but it's a slow watering. It's taking it down.
All right, thank you so much, Lance and Liz, for your presentation today.
Great, thank you guys.
Thank you.
I'd like to go ahead and introduce, and actually I see our third judge popped up. I have the pleasure of introducing Arnaldo Santos. He is the president of Cascadia Sales Group. So those are our 3 complete judges.
Okay.
Our next product today is the ESP LX IVM with Smart Valve Technology from Rainbird Corporation. And Amar, when you come up, just don't forget to go off mute.
Yep, can you hear me?
We can, thanks.
Yeah, perfect. Let me share my screen here. Can you see my slide?
Yes, you're great. Good to go.
Thanks, Tiffany. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, judges. My name is Amar Treviam. I work for Rainbird. I'm here to sort of introduce our new 2-wire controller, ESP LX IVM. Let me get right to it. So first, very briefly, I want to talk a little bit about 2-wire systems. 2-wire systems have really revolutionized the landscape irrigation industry for many reasons. I want to point out some of the reasons there. Easy to expand projects, reduce installation time when compared to traditionally wired system, increased wire runs, you can go farther on higher capacity. So these are some of the reasons people prefer 2-wire systems. But that doesn't come with disadvantages. Generally, users find the 2-wire system a little bit more complex and hard to use, definitely a lot more difficult to troubleshoot when something goes wrong. And the 95% of the issues that people see are due to splices. And again, this is 1990s technology that they're still using. So when Rainbird set out to develop the ESP LX IVM controllers, we had 2 goals. One, we wanted to enhance all the things that people like about 2-wire systems, but also attack the disadvantages to see, hey, can we develop a controller that keeps or makes better all the advantages, but it's easier to use, easier to troubleshoot, and let's use the state-of-the-art technology to do that. And the result of that is LX IVM controller. IVM stands for Integrated Valve Module. We call it the smart valve. Again, so what do we call the smart valve? If you think about current decoder-based 2-wire systems, you have a smart controller that's trying to talk to a not so smart or dumb valve, you can say. They don't speak the same language, so you need a translator in between. And we call the translator a decoder. So the smart controller talks to the decoder, and the decoder turns on or off the valve, right? So you kind of have a middleman. So what we've done is we've gotten rid of the middleman and made the valve itself smart. How do we do that? Is by this device called IVM, which has a microcontroller in it, right? So if you think about a microcontroller, it's a small computer, so to speak. It has its own memory, CPU, and all that. And now we have a situation where you have a microcontroller in the valve, and you have your controller itself, the smart controller, talk to each other, 2-way communication that makes both irrigation easier and troubleshooting easier. So I'm just going to go over 4 advantages of it and wrap up there. So number 1, this is the thing that really gets people excited when they learn about the LX IVM controller, is that it literally reduces the splices by half, right? So we already talked about how 95% of the issues in any 2-wire system is due to splices. So imagine a world with half the splices. So people are really excited about the fact that this new smart technology reduces the splices in half. Number 2, easy to use. So we literally made the screen 2.5 times bigger, so people can actually read what's on the screen. The dial itself, if you see the controllers in the market, there's too many options. You don't need to have that. You have a much simpler dial. In fact, we've simplified it so much that the dial itself doesn't have to be different than a traditionally wired controller dial, right? It can look the same. And then we've added some pretty cool features to make the navigation easier, like a back button, like an information button. If somebody has a question, they don't have to reach the manual, just hit the information button so you can see some contextual help, and a language button. So that's like the Mickey Mouse shaped button that you can kind of see there. So it's easy to switch languages. You don't, again, if you're in, if the controller is in Spanish and you don't know Spanish, imagine how you're going to go and try to switch it back to English, right? So it's a lot easier to do if you have a button that can swap through it. The last thing I'll mention is I talked about state-of-the-art technology, and we do have the technology which has 8 times more memory, 10 times more processing speed. So you've had the best brain power to backing this state-of-the-art controller. Easy troubleshooting. So I talked about the smart valve and how two-way communication can really make troubleshooting a lot easier. So I'm going to hit a couple of points. One is electrical history. So let's say you have 240 zones and 10 master valves and 8 weather sensor. You could go back and say, hey, I want to know what was the health of valve number 17 on August of last year, and you can get that data. You can say, hey, I want to know what weather sensor 3 was doing on 14th of last month. You literally have a record of every day for the last 30 days and monthly averages for the last year. So you have a full track record of health information that's available at your fingertips. And this is available at the controller itself. You don't need a central control platform on your computer to get that information.
Thank you so much, Amar. That is all the time we have so that we can stay on schedule.
Okay.
So I would like to go ahead and open up to see if there are any questions from our judges.
Hey, thank you, Velmar. I got a quick question on your valves. When you're programming them, do you have to go and program it at the controller, or is there a different device that you can program it at the actual valve when installed?
So there's a couple of ways to do it. So one is you could take the address and enter it in the controller itself. Or 2, if you have a central control program, you could do it at your computer, or you could do it in an app. You can literally scan the barcode in an app and then sync to a controller. So there's 3 different ways to enter the 2-wire address from the device to the controller.
Okay.
Amar, let me ask, why DC? Why go with DC on this controller?
So that's a good question. So what DC helps us to do is to use the idea of pulses. So you don't have constant current from the controller to the device. So you could turn more valves at the same time. You could have bigger sites at the same time. And also, if you have current all the time, it creates electrical stress on the wire and on the splices. So by going to DC, we reduce the stress, and also we increase the kind of things that you can do. One thing you have to watch for is what if you lose power? What happens? Because if you're working through pulses, you don't want to valve just spewing water. So what we did is we put a battery of sorts inside the microcontroller. So if it recognizes that it's lost power, it shuts itself off. So that's the one disadvantage of having pulses, but we fix that with this battery backup in the valve itself.
So I have a quick question following up. So it does have an address, and does that replace the same size of traditional solenoids? And you can throw away the traditional solenoids and put this one on exact same size? Or
absolutely. So it's exact same size. You just take your regular solenoid off, put on your IBM spousal, and just splice it to your 2-wire system. That's all you need to do. Obviously, you can get rid of your decoder. That's it.
Okay. And price. What's the price for this compared to the traditional solenoids and home controller for?
Yeah, so that's the unbelievable news. So the obviously, if just speaking with Rainbird, the price of a 60-station controller is actually slightly less than the 50 station decoder system. And if you just take one IVM SAW, it's actually slightly cheaper than one station decoder. So you actually, it's a state-of-the-art technology. You actually get not a huge break, but it's a slight a price break on a decoder-based system. Just speaking about Rainbow, obviously, not about other manufacturers.
Okay, thank you so much, Omar. That was a great presentation.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, now I'll introduce our next product, which is the Retro Regulator from Praxis. And Kevin, when you come on, you'll just want to go off mute. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Can everybody hear us and see us? Excellent. Excellent. I'm Kevin Miller, and this is my business partner, Chris Angelo. We're here from Praxis Manufacturing, and we are presenting the H2O-Wise Retro Regulator. I'm going to pop open a presentation here and share my screen really quick. There we go. So as many of you are aware, especially us in the Western states, we've had some very significant periods of drought, and there's a lot of regulations within the state and within municipalities that are guiding manufacturers towards some very, very tight water regulation standards inside new products. We've come up with a very unique device. It's patent pending right now, that will allow you to take any existing spray body, or I'll say most manufacturers' spray bodies, and within a matter of minutes, you'll be able to put our device inside the flow tube or the stem of the body and turn it into a 30 or 40 PSI regulated device, all with one part, and you'll get to select 30 or 40 PSI with our unit. In addition, it has a built-in check valve, which will prevent leaks from low water heads. And this is, if you've gone to our website already, you've probably seen what the device looks like. Instead of green, it's going to be a bright orange color, the production parts. And as you can see, it fits right inside the flow tube of the spray body.
And then, guys, as Kevin stated, so there's over a half a dozen states currently with regulation for pressure regulation at the head itself, at the distribution point. So we know in California, 32 million pop-up are sold each year, and almost 1 billion nationwide. So this is a very easy retrofit for pre-existing manufactured heads that at a very economical cost. And so instead of buying a pressure regulated manufactured head with a check valve, you're saving over 200%, because some of those heads are going from I'd say from less than $2 up to $6. So this is a very economical solution for many contractors or consumers themselves.
Yeah, I'm going to spin you guys through a video really quick. Then I'm going to show you live the part and how easy it installs inside a existing spray body.
Saving water and money instantly with the simple installation of our combination pressure regulator and check valve. Simply unscrew the cap of the sprinkler and remove the internals, and slide our retro regulator into the stem and reassemble the internals. Our patent-pending device is designed to fit inside the stem of most manufacturers' spray bodies, as shown here. Select between 30 or 40 PSI settings by using a flathead screwdriver. As unregulated water enters the spray body, our device is activated, thus reducing pressure and flow, which equates to instant water savings. Per state regulations, all spray bodies now sold in California, Washington, Colorado, Hawaii, and Vermont must come with pressure regulation. But what about the millions of sprinklers already in the ground? Now there's a cost-effective and time-saving solution to upgrade existing spray bodies to water-saving compliant parts. The Retro Regulator by H2O-Wise is the answer.
All right, so I have a just a regular 4-inch pop-up spray body here, and basically, you know, there's no digging involved. You don't have to tear up your lawn. All you do is unscrew the cap, take out the internals, and right inside the flow tube here, you just slide our device in just like that. You hear a positive click, it pops right in. Reinstall your internals. And now you've got a pressure regulated device and you can start saving water instantly. And also money as well. We have the videos on our website. We also have a informational brochure which kind of walks you through some of those savings and how we calculated it. You know, we believe this is a huge market potential for this device and something that, you know, so simple a homeowner could do it, so to speak. So I'd like to open it up now for a Q&A.
Thanks, Kevin and Chris.
Sure.
Judges, chime in if you have a question.
I have a question on it. What's your price point on this item?
You're going to save, you know, depending on, you know, distribution price, you're going to save, you know, between buying a full spray body and our device, you know, like Chris said, 75, 80%. Less than buying a complete spray body. So it's substantial.
Thank you.
And then on the labor side as well, you're not having to dig up ahead and worry about dirt getting into the line. All you do is clear around the cap and unscrew it and away you go.
So on your on this one, does it just work on just regular convention without check valve, just basic spray head, or is there limitations if spray head already has check valve, not pressure regulated, but just a check valve?
Oh, right. In that case, if something already has a check valve in it, you would have to actually remove the check valve to get this device inside the flow tube.
So a quick question.
You're on mute when you're ready for your question.
The other question I have on this one is, you know, so there's another product that's out there in the market that already has you probably are familiar with Hydrawise's product, the HRC version of it. How is that a little bit different than your product?
Well, this actually has not just pressure regulation, but a check valve built into the device itself. And you can select with the screwdriver, you can select between a 30 or 40 PSI setting. All with one device, no separate part numbers. And also it will fit inside a variety of manufacturers' flow tubes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Did I hear that correct? If I just wonder if I got it understood correctly. As you have two settings, either 30 PSI or 40 PSI, not the between.
Correct.
Okay.
So for your rotator heads, those require a little higher PSI. That's why we go with two different settings. A lot of the major manufacturers now are selling two different heads that have pressure regulation. They're selling a 30 PSI model and a 40 or 45 PSI model. Because depending on the type of nozzle you put on it, you're going to need more pressure. You're going to need higher pressure with a rotator type nozzle.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Great
Thank
presentation.
you.
Thanks, you guys.
All right.
Okay, so let's get right to our last product of the landscape category. I have the pleasure to introduce the ELF T10 SP3 from Creative Sensor Technology.
Hi, can you hear me, Tiffany?
We can.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry. I guess when I swapped off of one phase to another here, I lost all the audio and everything else for a moment. But I don't know whether
We
you're
can hear you. We can't see you.
All right.
No pressure though.
You can't see me, but you can hear me.
Yes.
Well, let's see if we can figure that out.
There's a start video button. Should be the bottom left.
Yeah, I'm not, for whatever reason, I'm not seeing it. Hate to waste the time doing this instead of something else. There we go. Let's try this. Now you can see me. All right, thank you, everybody. Sorry for the delay getting started here. My name's Norm Bartlett, and I'm with Creative Sensor Technology. And what I'd like to talk to you about this afternoon is our little ELF sensor. We call it the ELF, but it really stands for Enhanced Low Flow Sensor. And what this product is it's a new flow sensor. It is still an impeller technology, and it does have an impeller on the bottom of it. But this is the first one in the industry to use electronics inside that let us produce a scaled pulse output. And this produces an output that can be either 1 gallon per minute or 10 gallons per minute. If we expand the product line, we'd make it into larger numbers of gallons per minute to stay within range. But the thing that is unique about this is we've kind of realized that the industry is going finally, as far as we're concerned, towards measuring flow even on smaller systems, residential and small commercial systems. And so we wanted to come out with a flow sensor that would be at a price point and have the features needed for residential applications. Now, the first controllers that have seemed to come out into this smart controller marketplace for residential have been the very popular Hunter Hydrawise series and some other brands like Rain Machine and some others that are also using this pulse per gallon technology. So we wanted to do that. And at the same time, we wanted to do it in a way that we could have a sensor that was affordable to a residential homeowner and full of all of the features that we thought would be necessary to do it. So we have a 3/4 inch version that happens to be white. We have a 1 inch sensor that happens to be black. And I'm going to switch over here now to appropriately a black and white, real short PowerPoint to be able to show you, what we've got for features in this device. And if you look at this, let's get this guy up on the screen here and just say, as soon as I can get something out of the way here so I can get this to start. There we go. This is a look at our 1 inch ELF type sensor. The 1 inch one we made in a threaded version, and the revision for the threads will come out in a minute. You'll also notice it has kind of a unique shape compared to other flow sensors in that it's not centered in the T, but it actually has a rather strange looking mounting T. These threads are on the 1 inch one. The white inch one that I had in my hand, the white sensor I had in my hand was a 3/4 inch style, but both of them basically carry all the same features. And in addition to the unique feature of being a pulse type sensor, we decided we'd stick with impeller technology. And why impeller technology is that we think it's the most proven technology for use of flow sensors. And I can attest to that over the lifetime I've spent in the irrigation business and a lot of time with flow sensor design and installation. The design on this sensor is so different that we did get a US patent on it last year because we can measure flow as low as 0.2 gallons a minute, less than a liter, and up to 20 gallons a minute as a high. So we figure that this range will pretty much cover a vast majority of all of the residential irrigation systems and the small commercial jobs. And it'll also give us a product that we can use to measure very low flow drip systems in individual planter pots or baskets or things like that if necessary. It has a high pressure rating, 240 PSI, so it will withstand any kind of pressure that can be put through a residential or commercial system. And the advantage this has over some of the other water meter technology that's on the market and water meter technology is, let's face it, it's about 100 years old. So this is a vast improvement technologically. There's no friction loss through one of these devices. We can run this thing at a 20 gallon per minute range, even through a 3/4 inch sensor, and have less than a gallon per minute pressure drop. We also don't require any special fittings to put them in the way water meters do. We have the choice here of either a 3/4 inch PVC socket weld connection, or we have 1 inch threads. And the nice thing about the threads will come up in the next slide, but this doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be removed in the wintertime. And I know you folks in the nice warm country in California and west of the Rockies don't do too much in the way of winterizing systems, but we're finding here on the East Coast that people that have put water meters into the residential yards are then faced with the task of taking the meter out of the ground every winter because they won't withstand water in them freezing them. So this is
Norm, that's all the time that we have for you to get the presentation. I would like to open it up to the judges to see if there are any questions.
All right, let me just pop one other thing on the screen, but go ahead. I can go back to the other one if anybody wants to look at that.
A quick question on your flow rating on that. They will do a max of 20. What happens after if it goes over? So it will always, let's say we have 30 and then it will always read 20.
No, it would continue to do it, but we only rated it 20 gallons a minute through a 1 inch sensor, as you might be aware, is pretty high velocity. Sure. It's about 15, and we figure that once we get above that range, you know, we probably are not going to use this sensor. We go into other flow sensors we have.
Yeah, my question is actually the other end, the low flow.
Okay.
At the lower flow rate, the impeller, is that how deep the impeller is? Close to the wall of the tube, or is it in the middle, or the higher?
It's actually, it occupies a great part of the interior of the flow path where it goes right through it. And that's how we are able to have this thing operate at such a low flow. This will operate, you know, basically the impeller turns very, very slowly. It really is more like a water wheel at that point.
If I have a water flow through the pipe, very shallow, not even a full pipe, just the bottom 1/3 or 1/4 of the tube is flowing, will this impeller still recording the flow or document what's going on, or is it quit?
It will, but in any flow meter, you know, we practically look at it as being full of water. So what we've done is we have reduced this into a Venturi type of design within the T to make sure this does stay full.
Okay. I was thinking you designed this on the front end of water supply. I was thinking on the drainage side. That's why I was wondering how you can document a low flow.
If you do that,
different things. Yeah.
You put this in a little weir and have it actually drain uphill a little bit, just the height of the T, to be able to keep water in it.
Okay.
Norman, with this being a mechanical impeller, what is your life expectancy on it?
Well, what we do, good question, Brian. We have been building these impeller type sensors with this company since 2007. And in that time, we haven't got enough hours on them yet to figure out how long the life expectancy is. I've had them under continual operation, in a test lab that long, and they're still without wearing out. I would honestly say the impeller life is going to depend on the water quality, but in residential applications, it's usually potable water that's pretty clean, and I expect them to last 10 to 12 years anyway. And the electronics, the electronics in the top of it are guaranteed for life. The impeller can be replaced in about 30 seconds.
Okay, that answered my question. Thank you.
I have time to follow up with another question. The readout meter, that comes with this or fits into different type of readout meters?
We have a readout meter, but in most of these applications with these smart controllers, they have the ability to display rate of flow or total flow used. All of the targets like the Hunter Hydrawise controllers, even the Rainbird, ESP, ME3, they display flow on them. So to provide another display would be, extra cost and extra wiring.
Okay, so price.
The list price of our flow sensor is $149, and with distribution discounts and things like that, it probably will go to the contractor for less money than that.
All right. Thank you so much, Norm. Great presentation.
All right. Thank you, Tiffany. And thanks for including us in your contest.
Yes, absolutely. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So with that, that does wrap up our landscape category portion of our new product contest. I want to thank the judges again so much. They will start deliberating on who the winner shall be. Thank you everyone who logged in to view the presentations today. You'll want to check our website this Friday, November 20th, to see who wins. And I just want to give another thank you to our sponsor, Rainbird, for sponsoring the new product contest this year. And with that, we'll end it, and everyone have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you, Tiffany.